When it comes to concept art, I can never let it go. There is always something to fix or to tweak or to change with every concept, and I can never seem to be able to allow myself to finish them. A good example for this is the Rom Soldier, which you can see being drawn right now. This is the concept that made the idea of the Monster Garden change from focusing on creature designs to now focusing on a apocalyptic, war-torn landscape. And because the world started developing only after this drawing, slowly and surely the world started straying away from the original drawing, and now this concept sadly does not fit with the world anymore. There are other flaws with this concept as well, but to go into them I will have to tell you what the Rom Soldier was supposed to be. I wanted them to look like a well-rounded unit that can do any task pretty well, but isn't specialized in anything in particular. Also, the aesthetic that I wanted to go for was supposed to be a mix of World War I uniforms and medieval armor, but I didn't want to use the World War I guns because I felt they would make combat encounters too fast compared to what I was picturing in my head. So instead I wanted them to have muskets, and also magic scrolls, but the magic system will go into another video. Anyway, so in the end I had this weird mix of things from different time periods that I had to combine together and somehow make work. And on top of that, I wanted the Rom armor smiths to make their armor in a particular way, where to not tarnish the quality of the armor underneath, they add another layer on top to decorate it that way. So, how does the concept in the background being drawn right now not fit these criteria? Well, number one, the balance that I wanted to strike between World War I uniform and medieval armor in this drawing just doesn't feel right. I think it's because the underlying uniform underneath the armor isn't changed enough to fit with the armor aesthetic, so that they just both don't work together. Number two is the solution that I came up with for the Rom armor smiths to decorate the armor without tarnishing the quality of the armor underneath, which was to paint it. And it doesn't look bad, but it ends up making it look more like a toy soldier than anything. And the way I went around this was that in future iterations of the design, I instead made it so they add a second layer of metal on top of the first and engrave that instead. And the third and final thing I have an issue with this design is also, sadly, the one thing that I liked the most when I originally finished it, which is the helmet. You can see the intent behind it. Its shape was meant to basically deflect bullets, and that was its purpose. But then later on, after I finished the design and looked back at it, I thought about it a little more, and I was like, how the hell does this guy see?